So I was Michelangelo, the artistic flow coming from STL. The legendary shows, I knew I'd be a star, but little did I know it wouldn't be from bars. See, that's the big league, the radar online. I wasn't the undefeated, but I still was gon' shine. I took a few L's, took them shots like Pop, but then I got my weight up like Jason Whitlock. Pivot like Brian Clark, skipping Bailey, Shannon Sharp. Don't have to scream like Stephen A to get my point across. Climb Jamel Hills, one carry championships. They were quick to pull the gun, hoping Rob would quit. But 15 years later, Rob still the shit. Rob still legit. Rob still on everyone's pound for pound list. Rob is courtside, Rob is ringside. Catch Rob outside at the 50-yard line. Don't act surprised, Rob is a winner. George Steinbrenner cooking up these headlines. What you want for dinner? The Black Sports Center, you know who I be. Triple OG, the Ohio State University. That's who reps me. I'm love for a friend. I just murdered this track, call that a dead spin. The headline king is back. You know, I really like J. Cole. I think he's a throwback rapper to when you actually said stuff in your verses. You're a lyricist, you know, you had to pay attention to what the rapper was saying to catch the meaning or hidden meaning behind the rhymes. But if there was one line, just one line, I wish J. Cole had never uttered in any of his songs was, I want that Will and Jada love. Because you don't want that, okay? It's pretty clear right now you don't want that. You may want their money. You may want their fame. You may want their attention, but you don't want that type of love. And I say that because one of the stories that we did as headlines with Robert Littal is that Megan Thee Stallion did a song. She's independent now, free of a label. She did a song, and in the song, she talked about how her boyfriend, Pardi Fontaine, she caught him in her bed, playing a little bongos bed gammon with another big booty chick, a bigger booty than Megan. And obviously that hurt Megan's feelings because, you know, Megan was going through some things at that time. You know, eventually they broke up and she expressed herself in song, which a lot of artists do. But I'm really not here to talk about Megan Thee Stallion and Pardi and their type of situation. What I'm really here to talk about, and I'm going to help you today, Dr. Rob is in the house. So you might want to get a pen and a piece of paper. One of the problems with situations like this is that when it happens, everybody's like, oh my God, I can't believe that they were my relationship goals. And you hear that a lot when it comes to celebrities and athletes. They are relationship goals. You see them out, you see them on Instagram, they're taking pictures, they're being cute, and you see the girls, and sometimes the guy says, God, why, when are you gonna do this for me? I want to be Megan Thee Stallion. But do you really? Do you really want to be Megan Thee Stallion? First off, there's no such thing as relationship goals, especially when it comes to celebrity life, because you don't know what's going on in anybody's relationship. So you can't have a goal if you don't know what the goal is. In theory, a relationship goal should be your parents. If your parents have been married for 40 years, that's a relationship goal because you should have been able to see as a child becoming an adult what worked, what didn't work, what they went through, what are the things that they did to make you happy, et cetera, et cetera. Also, your parents can be what not to do in a relationship, therefore giving you a goal of what you will not accept. Maybe a relationship goes with your grandparents. Maybe it's your aunts. Maybe it's a close friend that you are aware of everything that they're going through. But your relationship goal can never, ever be an athlete, an entertainer, or somebody you just saw on Instagram and TikTok because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Let me just give you a few examples without saying any names because, like Dwight Howard said, what people do in their bedroom, what pose they're using, that's their business unless they get, sued about it. Then it's public. But if they don't get sued and nobody's talking about it publicly, it's private, so no names. But, one of your favorite basketball players literally has a side chick and a mistress in every road city that he's in. And a lot of those mistresses, he's paying for their house, their condo, their car. He's happily married. The other one of your favorite basketball players is clearly in an open marriage. Clearly in an open marriage. One of your favorite football players. These are facts, by the way, not fiction. One of your favorite football players once was on the road and took his family with him. They were at a hotel, the team hotel or whatever hotel it was. Had his family on the 15th floor, had his mistress on the 14th floor. Family, when I say family, I mean wife and kids. There was once a baseball player at the World Series that had his wife in one box and his mistress in the box right next to him. The wife was kind of curious of why this other woman was real close and wearing his jersey and things of that nature. He said, actually, this works for the team. And the team covers it up. You'd be surprised how much Jerry Jones has covered up over the years. But teams cover this stuff up all the time. In what world would you want to be in a relationship, young ladies, where the guy had a baby with a whole other woman while you was together? Why would that be a goal of yours? And then get married? This should be common sense, right? This should be common sense. And don't get me wrong, none of us are perfect. None of us should be standing on high horses. No relationship, no matter how famous or just how regular, is perfect. They all have flaws. Everybody argues. Sometimes you get tired. Sometimes you get upset. It's nothing is perfect. But why? Why would you base your happiness on somebody named Pardi who has a feminist tattoo? It just seems odd to me. If you notice, the people that run celebrity worship sites, they're all single. That's just a fact. The Swifties, the Barbies, the whatever, the hotties, they're all single. They're not in relationships. They're living vicariously through celebrity. Like, why would you ask Khloe Kardashian a relationship advice? Why would you think Kim Kardashian is the person to go to for relationship advice? Why would that be your goal? Why would that be your ideal situation? Just look in the mirror and ask yourself that. Yeah, I want you guys to be happy. Every relationship is different, just like every person is different. Sometimes they work out, sometimes they don't. You have to set your own personal goals of what makes you happy and then apply that to whoever you're dating. You cannot use Khloe Kardashian as a guide. Cannot use Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union as a guide. You can't use Nicki Minaj as a guide. You can't use these athletes as a guide. You can't use Jake Paul as a guide. You understand what I'm saying? Your own guy. You should. It's interesting because sometimes, every once in a while, you see something comes out and a person has a list of, I guess, things that they have to be happy, right? And don't get me wrong, that's different than the list of saying that you won't eat at, the Cheesecake Factory. That's stupid, okay? We're talking about real life stuff. The people that have lists like that, the people that are Cheesecake Factory and they won't do this on the first date, or you have to have this much money, and those people are always single, so don't even pay no attention to them anyway. But the people that have some general rules of what makes them comfortable, that's okay. It's not controlling, it's not manipulative. It's just, that's what you like. Like, I don't like women with deep voices. It's just a thing. Like, sometimes it's just a thing. Everybody has a thing. And maybe I take it back. If you can't live with going to the Cheesecake Factory, fine. It may make things harder for you because you're overlooking, maybe more important things, but everybody should have some sense of what makes them happy. Some people want somebody rich. Now you have to understand, only 5% of the people in America are rich. So you have to cut that down to just males, 2.5, maybe 3%. I mean, whatever. I don't know what your valuation of rich. Say your valuation of rich is I won't date a guy that doesn't make over $100,000 a year. So let's go to the stats. Okay. Stats. 18% of individual Americans make over $100,000 a year. If you're black, yeah, you'll be a little tough. That's only 22% of black households only make. So that's a household. That's not like one person. So you start splitting that down and stuff. You want a man or a woman that makes $100,000 a year, which is not rich by any stretch of the imagination, but let's just say it's a solid career, right? Now you're talking about 9% of the population. Now you got 9% of the population. Now you probably live in a certain area, right? So that shrinks it down even more. Shrinks it. That's it. Shrinks it down even more. That is that it? That what you want? They gotta have a Maserati. They gotta have a Lexus. I mean, I don't know. I want you to be happy. And you can't be happy with somebody else facing the avatar. Okay. You can't be happy if Nicki Minaj is in your avatar. You can't be happy if your username is LeBron Lover 99999 and you're a guy. That's just not gonna work. That's not gonna work. I feel bad for Miss Stallion. Nobody should walk. I mean, anybody walks in their house and see their significant other doing backgammon activities, it'd be devastating. I don't care how much money you have, what type of celebrity status you have, it has to be tough. I feel bad for Miss Stallion. Hope she finds someone that loves her for her. Obviously, she's having some issues with that, but hopefully we wish her well in the future. Caleb Williams, USC quarterback, has had a rough go of it last couple of games. The USC is lost a few, I think, 3 games, 2 games. Well, basically, they're out of the national championship conversation. They're out of the Pac-12 championship conversation, and he is still considered to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. But he's struggling a bit. And after they lost to Washington, where the defense gave up 52 points, hard to fault him for that. He was caught on camera crying with his mother, and of course that elicited a lot of social media activity. I blame myself for some of this because if you recall, reaction shots were always a thing in sports, not as prevalent until social media started catching them a little bit. And, that's kind of started with the quote unquote struggle face, where we would take individual shots that maybe the producer hit on, put it on social media, tag it struggle face, and it go viral. The people that go viral. The networks figured out that, hey, this is some stuff that can help us out. And now you see them zooming in and they're literally looking for the person that is devastated by the loss. In this case, it happened to be Caleb crying to his mom. There's 2 different sides of this. One side is like, he's a kid, he's emotional, he cares. The other side is he's soft, he's weak, and we don't want to draft him. But first off, nobody really cares that much, okay? No matter what side you're watching or what side nobody really cares. Has literally no effect on his draft stock. I doubt any team is gonna be like, he was crying to his mom, so he's undraftable now. That's stupid. Nobody cares about that. You don't care about that. Nobody cares. It's just something that happened. And when things like that happen, everybody has to say something. Everybody has to say something. Everybody has to, and you have to be contrarian. There's always going to be one side that be like, leave him alone. There's going to be the other side like, he's off. That's just the way the media and social media works now. Doesn't work if it's all one-sided. So even if it seems like it should be one-sided, you're always going to get somebody that says something else. And if you're in the media, depending on what side of the media pendulum you're on, was it pendulum that you're on, you're going to say the opposite, even if you don't mean it, right? So, of course, Whitlock is going to say this, or Clay Travis is going to say that. And, of course, you know, Shannon Sharp's going to say this, and they're going to say, it just depends on what side and where your audience is. If you want to know my opinion, I don't particularly care either way. Like, you know, I think it's okay to be emotional. You know, I lost a high school playoff game when I was a senior, a game that we were down 21-0 and had an opportunity to win the game on the last play. We threw an interception. Still bothers me to this day. That's like 20 years ago. So, you know, it's nothing wrong with that. You know, should he wait until he got in the locker room and stuff? I mean, this is mom. You see your mom is like, oh, baby, and next thing you know, you lose it. I mean, who cares? Like, I mean, really, like, I'm being honest. Like, what are we talking about? Can he throw the out route in the NFL? That's really the only thing that matters. Doesn't matter how much he cries. He can cry every day. He'd be Dick Vermeil, just crying a drop of a dime. Can he throw the out route? Can he process the zone blitz? You know, there's some questions about how when he plays against a little bit better competition, you know, he kind of comes down to earth. But you never know with quarterbacks, right? You never know. I mean, you just and it takes a while too, though. Sometimes they start off looking great. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they, you know, drafted later and do better. Sometimes they drafted early, do worse. You just don't know until it actually happens. So who cares? Cry all you want. You should be okay giving your emotions, okay? If it bothers you, it's okay. No, nothing wrong with crying to your mom. There's nothing wrong with being a mama's boy. It's better to be a mama's boy than not having a mom. Not better to be, you know, go to your dad, you don't have a dad. A lot of people don't have dads. It's just contrarian. It's just what people do. It's just something that if people argue and they're not really upset. I would hope not, at least. A lot of the arguments you see, nobody's really upset. And what are you mad about? If you're upset arguing about stupid stuff like this, then there's something deeper going on. If you're really angry, you know, meet me in Temecula type of angry about just something social media is talking about, there's something deeper going on inside of you. Are the NFL refs on the take? Okay. I mean, we have to ask, are they in with the mafia? Are they, or whatever's going on right now? We have to figure out what's going on. My only solution is they going to have to start replaying everything. I know it may make the games of 4 hours, but they may have to give like the coaches like 5 challenges, or make it like in college where everything is challenged, like from above, like you don't have to actually throw a challenge flag. They see something. Like they kind of had that with the quote unquote expedited review, but we got to have it for stuff like, I know they tried pass interference, but I feel like it should be from above. Like the coaches shouldn't, like somebody should be able to look on the replay in New York or wherever the hell they at. They'd be like, this was not pass interference. Okay. You know, like, or this was offensive pass interference. Like they should just be able to see it. Okay. I think if all pass interference calls, somebody should take a look at upstairs. And it doesn't take long. And the criteria should be like, did this really equate, you know, pass interference? Secondly, the roughing the passer absolutely has to be looked at above. It absolutely has to, because the thing about the roughing the passer that is even, I don't know if it's more egregious, maybe it's more egregious than the pass interference, is this. Normally with a roughing the passer, there's that 99% of the time, it is either a sack or an incompletion or an interception. So it's some sort of negative play for the offense. And normally, if you have a sack on a drive, if you have obviously if you have an interception, even if you have just an incompletion, a lot of this happens on third down. So you're taking something where normally a sack is between 5 and 10 yards going backwards, and you're actually giving them 15 yards forward. And it changes the entire dynamic of a game. The one that was on the kid from the Commanders yesterday was quite possibly the worst the worst roughing the passer call I've ever seen in my life. The kid just tackled him, was going for a fumble, actually knocked the ball out, rolled on the side of him, didn't even fall on top of him. And they caught, I don't know why. The only explanation I have is he got gambling debts. So it's the only explanation I have. It's like the NFL is testing us. Like, we know that the NFL gets the biggest ratings of all. They're the biggest sport in North America. And they just feel like we just accept trash. And we have, but that won't, I don't know if that's going to last forever. You keep scoring, like the Eagles and Cowboys, that was a terribly refereed game. That's a national game, probably 30 million people watching, and it was awful. It was awful from the refs. There are 2 flag happen. They gotta just you just gotta let them play. Unless it's, my thing with flags has always been, unless it's egregious, meaning that, it literally affected the play, don't throw the flag. If somebody got somebody to bear hook, okay, throw the hold. If someone clothesline someone before the ball, throw the pass interference, right? But come on, man. If somebody, spears the quarterback in the neck, okay, got it. But all this other stuff is ridiculous. One positive from the NFL, week 8, week 9, week 8, one of the weeks. My guy C.J. Stroud. All I wish was Gus Johnson was calling his games. Oh, and I also wish he was still at Ohio State. But my guy C.J. Stroud, 470 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Comeback 40 seconds ago, 2 timeouts, throwing dimes to beat the Bucs. Looks like the real deal. Hopefully it's the real deal. Got people in Houston, of all places, excited. Get your season tickets, because as soon as they get their defense together, get a nice running game going, they're going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem. I always say good quarterbacks or great quarterbacks make good wide receivers great, and great wide receivers Hall of Famers. You see what I'm saying? That's the way it should work. It should work. It shouldn't be the opposite. It shouldn't be, but it is sometimes. Great wide receivers make average quarterbacks look good, and then they make a lot of money. Great running backs sometimes make average quarterbacks look good, then they make a lot of money. CJ was talking at the post-game press conference about his pops. His pops is in jail. I think it's 36 years to life on some carjacking situation, drug deal went wrong and everything. And he was talking about how the prison system is all jacked up and everything. And I think some people kind of misunderstood what he was trying to say. First off, he was talking about this prison conditions in and of itself are terrible. Some people may don't care about that because they're like, it's criminals and they don't deserve, type of things. But that's really a different discussion for a different day. The one that I want to talk about is this. I saw someone say that, CJ's dad, he pleaded guilty to this carjacking, his drug situation, so he deserves to be in jail. The problem with that is not that he shouldn't serve his time. What I always see is the problem with our justice system is that the time is not equal. And what I mean by that is, depending on what type of lawyer you can afford, depending on what type of judge you have and everything, stuff is not equal as far as how many years people spend in jail. And I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. I like to watch unsolved mysteries. A lot of you probably are too young to remember unsolved mysteries, but like from the late 80s to the early 2000s, unsolved mysteries, before Netflix, before all of this stuff, was where you did your crime drama and all of this stuff, before you can stream like 900 documentaries and all of this stuff. That's where you saw your, America's Most Wanted type of stuff. I was on Unsolved Mysteries. Robert Stack, legendary Robert Stack. And I like to watch these old unsolved mysteries before I go to bed, because it's just one of my things that I like to do. Because I'm always curious, because most of these cases are now 30 years old. So I'm curious if some of them got solved after the show went off the air. Sometimes my craziest reactions to the one where, somebody gets murdered or people get murdered, and you would think it would be solved by now, and it still hasn't got solved, or people are missing and just disappeared and never found them 20 years later. Just a lot of crazy stuff like that. So last night I was watching an episode, right? And the little part of the episode was this guy who invited this girl to live with him. I believe it was in Arizona. He invited her to live with her in Arizona, but she was on drugs. She was a little crazy. His family had warned him, like, hey man, like, I don't think this is a good idea. You need to send her back to New Jersey, where she's from. She's on drugs. She's kind of crazy. She's always accusing you of cheating. She hit him. She was violent. All of this stuff, right? Eventually, this ends up with her killing old boy with a mallet while he was asleep. And then after she hit him over the head 100 times with the mallet, stabbing him like 20 times in the chest, and just leaving the body at his apartment, stealing his truck, and then disappearing. 4 or 5 days later, they find old boy dead in his house. She's like 200 miles away. There were some sightings of her. She stole this truck. She was hitchhiking somewhere. Anyway, they end up finding the girl, right? So don't forget, this has happened like in the mid-90s or whatever. So I'm like, man, that was cold-blooded. I mean, there's no doubt, she killed him forcefully with a damn mallet, and then stabbed him after that for no reason at all, just because she was crazy. She got 15 years and was out in 8. 15 and out in 8. Meaning that she's been doing whatever she's doing for probably the last 20 years, free as a whistle. He dead. He dead. Christmas was canceled. We're at the timing. She got 15 and 8. So I think when people talk about the justice system, it's like, how can someone bludgeon someone with a mallet and stab them and be out in 8 years, and someone get caught up in a bad drug deal and get 36 to life? Do you have an answer to that? And I think that's what CJ said. He didn't, most of the time it affects. This was a white woman that got away with it. Black people more than white people, but not always, because if you're a black person, you got money, you get the right lawyers, you should be in jail for some things that you're not in jail for. And I always say that, and I think sometimes white people think, well, black people just say they want criminals to be running. No, nobody wants criminals running free. If somebody robbed me, black, white, Mexican, whatever it is, I want them in jail. But if a black guy robs me and a white guy robs me, I want them to have the equal time. I don't want the white guy getting out in 5 years and the black guy serving 20. Equality, something that black people have asked for 200 years. Something that's not close to happening, but it's something that we're asking for. So hopefully, at some point, CJ's dad get a realistic sentence, and he gets out and he can see his boy play, because boy is out there balling. And one last thing before I leave. Stefon Diggs said he was the can man. Anyone can get it. But let it be told, there is only one can man, and that's Adrian, the problem. Bro.
You've mentioned a couple names recently. Who were they?
Listen, man, they call me the problem, but you could call me the can man, because anybody can get it. Africans, Americans, Dominicans, Mexicans, anybody can get it.